sanity is shackled, I will find the key.
Science means going where outcomes are uncertain, but I am certain that we're going to have a great time.
Fan mail. You get it, I get it. Well, I get a lot of it. Guess they love me out there in this.
So I guess starting off, just to say, the team comp here. I don't know if you guys are just playing heroes you're comfortable with, or if it's or if you're trying to make like a cohesive and like a good team comp that works well together. So Lucio is good here, I think, on this map, just in general, and he's good with almost anything. I really like the Winston pick on this map. It's really good. Moira is not great. She's good on this map. It's just that with Winston, she really can't help him. Like, say he dives and like he jumps very far away into the back line or something. Moira, she cannot heal him very easily. Like, the only option she has to heal him from that kind of distance is to throw her orb at him, and that'll bounce away after like 3 seconds. So it's really not that good. And especially like, say Winston's on the high ground, like she can't get to him that easily. So Moira's not ideal to run with Winston usually. She's not terrible. You can still make her work. It's just that your Winston's gonna have to play a lot differently, and because he should know that he can't be healed when he's like not like sitting on top of her. So I think what would be better would be to run something like an Ana or a Mercy in this spot. The Junkrat is decent on this map because there's like some good choke points that you can spam, but he's just not great with like a dive comp like with Winston and stuff, but he's fine. You can make him work. Soldier, he kind of works in everything. You can definitely run him in dive, and he's pretty good with Moira, just because he can deal damage from range. He can keep people off her pretty easily. Soldier's good in everything basically, so Soldier's good here. But I think like if you're gonna run a Winston, usually you want at least one character that can like get in there with him and like help finish kills, because Winston obviously doesn't do that much damage. He does 60 damage per second. He's got the tickle gun, so he can definitely finish kills by himself if he's good and well positioned and uses the bubble well. But it's a lot easier if you have a Genji or like anything, a Tracer, even a Lucio could go in and help. But Lucio it's a little dangerous for him to do, even though it can be done. It's usually like ideally you want a DPS to assist. If this was Overwatch 1, you could even have a tank, but those are the days of old. So you could also, instead of the Junkrat, you could run like a Widow or something, or a Hanzo, and instead of having a DPS that's in there with Winston attempting to finish kills, you could have a sniper who can like land a shot, get somebody to half HP like a body shot, and then Winston just jumps on him and helps finish it. So then Winston's helping finish the kills, not them helping Winston. So that's an option as well. But I don't know, you guys, as Brandon's told me, this is a lot of you guys are fairly new to the game, so I don't know if you're comfortable on all those heroes. Just some food for thought. So right off the bat here, I just want to say, not a big fan of this jump here. I'll tell you why. So you come out the gate here, and you're Winston, and you're the main tank. So like that's your thing. Is like you need to decide how to engage the enemy team, and like you position and deny space and take space from them to make your team, control the map better and just to shit on people. So the first thing you did is you walked out here, and the enemy's coming from right over there because this is a symmetrical, like all these maps are symmetrical, so you know that they'll come from right over there almost always, but regardless they're this direction. So what you want to do is you want to get on the high ground, almost always. But what you did is you went straight to the point. The point doesn't even unlock for 20 seconds. So what you want to do prior to the point unlocking is you want to control as much of this space as you can, preferably high ground or somewhere where you can try and lock the enemy out from even approaching the point or even coming into this little this courtyard here. So what I would have done if I was Winston, I would have walked up to here, I would have peeked here, and then I would have jumped to right where this Hanzo is up here. And then what you can do from here is you can deny any snipers, because this is a very common spot for snipers. So you're denying snipers. You can actually zap them from up here as Winston. Like his gun reaches fairly far, so you could peek, you could zap people here. And then the best part of this is if anybody on their team pushes in, it'll probably be one or two people at least that are like left behind, usually the healers. Because usually the healers, like right there right now, are in the back alone. So if you were Winston right now and you were up here, their team walks in, and then you just drop on their healers. And now you're zapping their healers. And the best part about that is that you've used your jump to get up here. Your jump is a 6-second cooldown. You can just drop down, and now you have your jump. You didn't use your jump to engage. You didn't jump from there just directly onto the healers, and then you have no jump. You jumped up here. Your jump is off cooldown now, and then you drop on them. And then you just get to do that for free, basically. And then that way, if you get in trouble, you get weak, you already have your jump and you can just leave immediately. So, but the main takeaway here is you came in and you guys all immediately ran directly to low ground here. So like you're just giving the enemy team all this space. So you're giving them this high ground, which could allow him to, headshot one of your people here. You're giving them all this, which is about to become high ground because you guys are all low ground. And more importantly, you're giving them this catwalk right here. And that makes it so like now they can all shoot down on you from the top of the point. And it's like, okay, you have the point, but like it's not unlocked yet. So they have like 20 seconds to start getting picks on you guys, and to, even if they don't get picks, to get you guys at a health disadvantage before they just all in you. So this just seems like a little bit of a positioning mistake right off the rip here. I think you would either just push straight up here and just fight in this courtyard, or you would try to take this catwalk right here and like fight from here and try to hold them over here, denying them as much space as you can. Alright, that's a little long-winded, so I'm just going to move on. But okay, so as Winston, I think I said this earlier, you only do 60 damage per second. So the people you want to be zapping are not tanks. Just as a general rule, like you want to be zapping people that are weak, preferably with no self heals. So when their Winston jumps in like this, it is good to focus him, but it's not really the best thing you can be doing as Winston. So, like, because you do 60 damage per second, if he didn't have armor. He has armor, so Winston has a lot of armor. Right down here is 550. I believe it's 100 of that is armor now. I'm not exactly sure because they changed it from Overwatch 1, so I don't know anything anymore. But he's got a good chunk of armor there. So the way armor works in Overwatch, basically little tiny bits of damage that are done is you're fucked. Like you do nothing. So Overwatch, the armor is like if you, for every time that in every instance that you take damage, every tick, it will take either one of two things, whichever one is more. It will take, or sorry, whichever one is less. It'll take off either 5 damage or 50% of the damage dealt, whichever one is less. So for example, Winston, he does ticks with his left click, like little tiny ticks with his little lightning gun, and those ticks are pretty fast. So each little tick doesn't do much damage. It's less than 5 damage. So like, if they were to take off, or it's not less than 5 damage. It's like 7 or 8 damage a tick. But the point is, if they were to take off 5 damage from that, that's over 50% of the damage, so that's more. So then it takes off 50% instead. So you're doing half damage, is what I'm trying to say. You're doing half damage to this Winston, so you're doing 30 damage per second because he still has his armor. But even if he didn't have his armor, he's a tank. He's got so much health. Like, you're not going to burst him down with a Winston gun. So instead of zapping him here, what I would do is, so I wouldn't have used the jump down here, first of all. Or if I did, I would have gone up a lot higher. I would have landed up here, maybe. But the point is, you want to be zapping either this person would have been a decent one to jump, because they're kind of alone, or better yet, the Hanzo or the Ana or even the Brig would have been fine, but basically anybody but the Winston here. Like the ones that want to focus the Winston is your Junkrat, and your Soldier 76. Those are the ones that want to focus the Winston if anybody's going to focus the Winston. But I wouldn't usually do it like this. He does get weak there, and I know that you're chasing him here because he got weak, but he lands on his Ana, and like Ana is on his Ana. So she's just going to throw a grenade at him here, and he is going to be fine. And if she was good, not only would he be fine, you would be fucked, because she missed the grenade. It landed right here, so it gave him the heal boost. It's immediately 100 heals, and then you see how his health bar is glowing. That means that he gets 50% extra heals from every other source of healing. So the other healer, who is totally ignoring him, however, also just her left click will just heal more. So you're not killing him here because she's out healing you like a lot. But if she was any good, that nade would not have just heal boosted him, it would have antied you. So if she had landed it like on his back or on the side of the wall here, you would be anti-healed and he is now heal boosted. So that's not really great. Like you can't really do that. You can't just chase Winstons directly to their Anas. Sometimes you can, but usually if you're chasing somebody to an Ana, you just kill the Ana and then kill them, because you're not gonna out heal an Ana. She does the most single target healing of anything in the game, especially if she has her grenade off cooldown. It's just not that great. So if you were gonna jump over there, jump the Ana, that's fine, or jump this guy, jump the Hanzo. So because she's freaking out, she's healing the Winston that you got weak, so she's gonna be healing him. So that means that you could have landed on the Hanzo here, and she can't pocket both of them. And that's one of the best things about Winston, is that his left click targets multiple people at once. So if you could basically get her to pick, be like, okay, you're going to pocket one of these people, the other one is going to die, because you can hit both of them at once. So anyways, I would do that probably. Or you could have just, when the Winston left, you could have targeted these guys. But the only target you really shouldn't be focusing right now is the Winston. They want you to focus the tank. As a general rule, don't focus the tank unless the tank is hard feeding. Like if it's a Winston, you need to make sure that he's used his jump, basically. If he's already used his jump, then you can focus him. If he can just jump away, then it's questionable if you want to focus him or not. Alright, moving on. That was actually a decent jump for the Winston there. So once again, Winston's kind of, it's your thing to engage the fight. So you back off here, which is good because you weren't going to kill him. Tapping the Hanzo there is good. He's really weak, so I really like the chase here. That's a really, really good thing. And then you see that the Ana's weak, so here you get a little tunnel visioned, I think it looks like, because this Ana is 1 HP, and she's probably the most important target to kill. So you could very easily kill this Ana here, but it looks like you're pretty locked in on the Hanzo there. Hanzo does die, but you definitely could have got the Ana there. So one of the things with this is for any character, but it's particularly for Winston. If you're really, really close to somebody, like you're right up in their face, like you were with that Ana a second ago, like you're literally just eating her ass. So how does she even get weak? Oh, she just stands next to a Moira Orb. Okay. So anyways, so when you come back here and you jump and you land here, the Ana's right in front of you. You're zapping her a little bit. You're right here. So if you just punched her here, she's basically dead. So punch does 30 damage. Each one of these little ticks on the health bar is 25 HP. So if you literally zapped her for like a quarter of a second longer and punched her, she's dead. So the main thing here is if you punch people to finish them, they will die faster. It's like you can burst down the last 30 HP. So if you'd punch this Ana here, she probably just dies. And that would have been a huge pick if you could have punched the Ana here. But that was a really, really good engage, really good jump from the Winston. It was really, really good. And then the bubble here, fantastic. So because that stops the Ana from using her brain cells and nading you, which would have been the good play. So that was really good. You got a pick here. You're pretty weak now, so now it's a good time to leave. I think you... Oh, damn, you didn't make the jump there. That was good. Okay, you guys got the point. So what I would do now here is, as we were saying earlier, high ground is good. So now that you have the point, it would be really good if you guys could try and push up a little bit and take some space. Okay, you got 2 people antied here. Their monkey is in. I don't think you can kill him there, but maybe. Okay, I don't know what this is all about, but okay, cool. So I don't know if he was AFK or having some technical issues, but if that is the case, it would be good to be like, hey team, you're down 1, and let them know to back up, because it's not really great to fight when you're down 1. Okay, it looks like that is an L. Okay, so, but the main thing here for the DPS that I would have wanted to see is what I was saying earlier, get the high ground. So if you were here, and if you were just standing like right back here, this kind of area, then you are in a lot less danger. So you'd have to, like their Winston would have to pick one, he would have to either jump on you or jump on the people down there. If you're all together, he can zap all of you at once, which is not good, but also what's better here is that the Winston's here, and you can just take a step over here, and you can shoot, and then you can kind of just walk over here and just free kills on the supports, and then if they look at you, you just back up a little, and you can walk like 2 steps, and you're back in the fight, like able to shoot people from above. And also it's a lot easier to get headshots from above because of the angle you're at. So like, obviously if I'm looking at her from up here, like most of what I'm seeing is her head. Whereas like, obviously if I'm shooting at her from down here, like it's a lot harder to hit her in the head. Anyways, so it would have been good if both the DPS could have been up here. The Junkrat as well, he can drop down on people, and like, he can basically drop on people. He can drop, he can left click, and he can left shift, and he'll fly right back up. And that'll one-shot people. So the left click does 120 damage for Junkrat, so does the left shift, if it's close enough to them, and it should be because you're inside of them. So basically left click, left shift, that'll one-shot any 200 HP target because it's 120 damage each. That is 240 damage total. So you can just burst 240 damage immediately. So that'll kill somebody if they're 200 HP. It'll kill them if they even if they get a little bit of heals, it'll still kill them. So I probably would have dropped on this Ana if at all possible, or the Brig if you can't. The only thing with the Brig is that she has 250 HP, not 240. So she would be left with 10 HP. So you'd have to do like one more thing to kill her, maybe a melee or something. But anyways, so yeah, it's really good for Junkrat to be up here as well. But both DPS should definitely be up here, because then they can do a little flank action while your Winston's taking all the aggro here. Okay, the Brig died. Okay, it looks like your team's all dead. So let's move on here. Okay, so we swapped Reaper for the Winston, I'm assuming. It's not a bad pick. So with Reaper here, the main things you want to do is, so your E, which is your teleport here on the bottom right, that is basically your main mode of getting closer to the enemy. And then your other one, your left shift, that's your one that makes you go invulnerable. That one is basically your escape. So you're going to try to get as close as you can. So right here, what you would do, so you have 2 options. So you have one option, chase this Winston that has tried to dive your team, but he's up on high ground, so that's not really a great idea, because if you were to, the only way you can get up here is if you teleport. So if you teleport right here, you're teleporting in plain view of the entire enemy team, so they'll just shoot you. That's not good. So the second thing I would do is I would teleport still. I would teleport probably like right here. And then from there, you've gotten close, and then you just walk up and behind, you try to kill the Ana or the Ashe, probably the Ana, because she looks like she's in her scope. You can usually get free headshots on that. That would be good. Or another thing, you could teleport up here. As a general rule, it's really good, kind of like Winston with the jumping on high ground and then dropping on them. It's really good with Reaper to teleport on high ground and then drop on people. So I think that would be a good idea. But other than that, what you want to do with the Reaper, if you don't have your teleport, is you want to play corners and try to get them to push you. Because if you have to use your left shift, so your escape ability, to approach people, then it's really, really risky. You really don't want to do that. And if you don't use it, then you're just walking at them, and it's like they'll usually kill you before you get them. Killing the break here is not bad. That's a good idea. She was a little overextended. The monkey's on you there. It's a good use of your E, or your fucking left shift, rather. Okay, well, you guys are up 1 right now. So you're actually up 2. So I think it'd be a really, really good time to get aggressive because our Reaper killed 1, our Junkrat killed another. So you guys are, right now, you are 5v3. So it would be a really good idea for you guys to just hold the W key. So right now it should be Lucio speeding in, and you guys just going in and slurping everybody and running them over. So when you have a huge advantage like that, that's a really good time to focus the tank. So a lot of the time, as I said earlier, you don't want to be zapping the tanks as Winston, but it doesn't matter. When you have 5v3, it does not matter. You just run in there and you just overwhelm them by having more people. So you did, and that's good. So I would continue to speed here. I don't know if we're speeding. Let me check. Okay, we are speeding. So what I would continue to do is you guys should... Okay, we are speeding, but we're not amping. So right here, these guys, they're free. All you have to do as Lucio, press the E button, and then your whole team just runs these guys over, is what you should do. Okay, good. And booping back in, that's really good. Nice, okay, you got one. Looks like one of the healers got out. But that is exactly what you should be doing as Lucio, that's good. Okay, so here you guys are making the same mistake you made the first time, which lost you the point. So you've just won. Like, you're still up. You just killed one of their healers. So I get it, you're backing up, you want to heal because you were a little weak. But you're 5v4. And your whole team goes, oh no, and you run to the point, low ground, and hide. So what you should be doing is your Winston should be up here, stopping this person from doing what they're doing. Or your Lucio, or both, should also be up there, just harassing them and killing them. It's probably a free kill, so they should be up there. Your DPS, now that she's not up here, your DPS can sit here, or here, or even up here for the Junkrat, and you can spam this choke, because Junkrat is really, really, really good at spamming these chokes. Like, it's free kills all day for him if you can get them to stay here. So your whole team should be holding either on the corner, so like Reaper, it would be really good for him to play like right here, because as I said earlier, you get them to push into you, you play the corner, they walk around, and then boom, you're here, and you still have your abilities. So that'd be good for Reaper to be here, or also he could just teleport up here along with the Winston and the Lucio, and teleport up here and get her off high ground. Either way, you guys should be holding this choke right here as closely as possible to stop them from being in there. And then one of the good things about your team is that you're pretty mobile, so even if they take the back route over here, as long as you guys are keeping like an eye on it, so like say you have your Winston, your Lucio up here, like they're gonna notice if people start going the back way here. So they just call that out, and then all you guys would have to do is your Winston would jump, your Lucio would wall ride, and you'd be over here and you'd be on the high ground. And this is like a death trap. If you have a Junkrat up here, just spamming this, if they walk down, like the Junkrat looks straight down and it just kills everyone. So it would be really, really good for you guys to just rotate and then hold like right here and just delete them all. So you're just giving them a lot of space right here. Backing up to the point is just really not a great idea right now, because you're up 1 right now, so you guys should be getting aggressive. Instead, you guys are allowing them to regroup. You're letting them try for picks, and you're giving them all this space, and it works out, so they get a pick there because they literally just walk in for free, and they just do whatever the hell they want. If the Ashe here, who she just killed your Moira, so she came in here, your Moira got fire struck, and then the Ashe flew up here and headshot her. So if the Ashe, if you were on her when she was up here, and then your DPS were here and here, it would have been a lot more difficult for them to do anything, because she would have walked over here and she would have been getting shot by a soldier and a Junkrat the whole time. And she probably would have already been weak from a Winston, and you would have been on her ass. So if you had not allowed them to just walk into this courtyard for free, your Moira's probably alive. So you guys are now even, I think, because their Honest should not be back yet. Or is she back? Yep, their Honest still not back. So you're even for the next like 4 seconds. So basically, if you don't get a pick in the next 4 seconds, you're then at a disadvantage. Okay, you did get a pick. They got one too, so now you're down one. I don't know about this monkey ult, just for the record. So monkey ult, the main reason you want to use it is for survival. So when you use your Winston ult, you will fully heal. So if you are literally 1 HP out of 550 and you press Q, you will be 1000 HP. Like, it just immediately goes to full HP. That is the biggest benefit, in my opinion, of Winston's ult, is that, and then also the cooldown reset. So whenever you use your ultimate, your jump will immediately come off cooldown. So like, say you're trying to get somewhere really fast, you would jump, press Q, and then jump again midair. But here, the main thing with Winston ult, it's not great for damage. So you almost do the same amount of damage in your ult as you do outside of your ult. The main thing with your ult is just boops people. So doing it to boot people is good, but nobody's really near a ledge right now, so it's really not, there's no really reason to use it right now. But one thing you could do here, if you wanted to use the ult, is I would have jumped here, so you would have, so it's fine to jump here, so I would have jumped up. This is still before the Moira's dead, actually, so let me skip forward. Okay, Moira's dead, whatever, Winston's here, you're hanging out. Oh, you already ulted. Okay, let's go back and look. Okay. So, okay, so yeah, if you wanted to ult here because you're down, you're like, oh, I gotta make a difference, this jump is fine. I think you did hit the roof, or the ledge there, which is why it's not quite the right trajectory. But yeah, if say you wanted to just kill this BAP or something, that would have been fine. So what I would have done here, you're ulted, you're midair, doing your ulting thing. You see this BAP, you press Q, and then you jump again, and you fly at this guy, right? And then you land on him. Landing on them does do some damage. You knock him away, and then you jump after him, and you want to get him in a corner and beat him to death, basically. That's fine. You want to just take one person, isolate them, and kill them. Preferably somebody with no movement abilities. BAP doesn't really have one. He only has his jump, and if you're constantly booping him in the air in the corner, he can't use it. So BAP would be a good target here for you to harass with your Winston ult. But Winston ult just does not do that much damage. Usually what you would do instead is you would jump really, really deep into the backline, like really deep, like deep enough that you're like, I'm going to die. And then you just basically use all of your HP to get some damage done, and then right before they kill you, so probably around like 100, 150 HP or so, you use your ult, you're now full HP, and by full HP I mean 1000 HP, and then you just keep going and harassing them, and it gives your team a lot of space. That's usually how you would want to use the Winston ult. But instead here, I think what you do is you just boop the tank around. So yeah, you just boop the tank around. He's nanoed. He takes 50% less damage when he's nanoed. He's also Reinhardt, so he has freaking 625 HP to begin with. So he effectively has like 1250 HP right now because he's taking 50% less damage. And he also deals 50% more damage. And as I said, Winston's ult really doesn't do much damage, so not really great to just boop him around. So if I was going to boop anyone right now, it would be the DPS or the healers. And then so since they nanoed a Reinhardt, it's basically your Lucia's job to speed everyone away from the nanoed Reinhardt. Because yeah, he's nanoed, he does a lot of damage. He takes a lot of damage and deals a lot of damage, but he's still a melee character, so if you just have speed boost, you just walk away from him and he can't catch you. So yeah, that's usually how you would want to deal with that. You guys look like you're down a lot now though. They've used a couple ults. They used their Ashe ult, they used their Ana ult, and now they are going to have, next fight they're going to have Shatter and their Sojourn ult. So you guys, on the other hand, have you just used Winston ult and you lost it, that was it. But you do have a lot of ults coming online next fight. So you'll have Beat, you'll have Reaper ult. So if you play it right, I think what you should be doing here is probably just Reaper and Moira ult. And so one of the main things with Reaper ult is that it is easy for him to get killed during it because he's almost stationary, so you can just kind of shoot him in the head for free, like their Ashe and their Sojourn could probably do. So he dies semi-regularly during his ult. So it's good to combine it with something on your team. So say you had a Zarya, you would bubble him, but in this case you don't have a Zarya, so what I would do is I would use Moira's ult and just keep him up. So what I would do next fight is I would combo those two ultimates. So I would come in here, your Reaper walks up, he TPs wherever, up here, over here, preferably like over here. And then say that the enemy team is like here, or they're over here, or whatever. You don't have to kill the whole team, just kill like 1 or 2 people, and you're good. And basically, Reaper just drops on them, presses Q, and then Moira presses Q and keeps him up, and also deals a little bit extra damage through him. That's probably what I would try to do this next fight. But you want to have a plan every time you're going in here. But step 1 of this plan is to regroup and be not where we are right now. So your Winston needs to get out and your Moira needs to get out, and then you need to regroup, and then you can do that. So it's not like a terrible thing to be throwing damage orbs here. The only thing is, so you have your ult as Moira, so you already have your ult. You're not going to be killing anyone with that orb, obviously, because they're a full team right now. You're throwing an orb into them. There's nobody there to follow up on it. Nobody's going to let an orb solo them, right? So you have your ult. You don't need ult charge. But you throw this in. So all this does, it doesn't have any chance of killing anyone. It's not giving you ult charge. But what it is doing is it's damaging the enemy team, and it's allowing their supports to build ult charge. So their Ana just used her ult, and their BAP is halfway. So like you're giving them free ult charge here with that orb. So I wouldn't just randomly throw them around if you don't have your ult already. Alright, so heal your Winston up. Okay, so I'd have your Winston go in, and then your Reaper teleport in, and then I'd use your... That should be your free kill. Nice. That's good on the Ana. It's not a terrible fade. I don't think you should be getting super aggressive here. Usually it's your Winston, Lucio, and literally anyone else that gets aggressive usually. It's not bad since you got to pick, but you like if you get double headshot or you're in trouble here now with this. Your Lucio did a good job of the boop there to save you. That was good. Okay, looks like you guys are losing this, but let me just see what was going on the other side here. Damn. Okay, your Reaper's popping off. You guys, actually, I think you're winning this. Nice. Nice. Okay, well you guys won with 0 ultimates, which is really, really good. But, so you did win with 0 ultimates, which is really good. But in general, it's good to, like, if you have them, you know, you just use 1, maybe, to, like, take a fight that it's like, yeah, I know you styled on everyone and you won and you didn't need them. But using 1 would be, like, a decent way to take a fight that's, like, maybe a 50 or 60% chance to win because you got to pick and turn it into, like, a 90% chance if you just, like, go and solo ult somebody. So that would be decent if you just used like the Moira ult or the Reaper ult or something. That would have probably been good. Probably Moira ult is what I would have done because that's it. Like makes it so nobody dies, and it also deals a decent amount of damage. Also, your Moira was in a little bit of trouble, and when Moira does use her ult, she has 70 HP per second self heal during her ultimate. So and also Moira ult just builds stupidly fast. So I probably would have used Moira ult there just to secure that fight. But it's not a big deal. You guys won just fine. So now that you did win, you're up right now. So right now there's your 3v5. So there's these 3 people right in front of you guys. There's the Lucio, the Moira, and the Ashe. And the same thing as last time, I would get your Winston up here or up here and just hold this choke, chase these guys down, make sure that they go back to spawn, and find out why people don't take 3v5s because it's a bad idea. So I would chase them down right now. So I would be speeding after them and just going at them. Preferably your monkey should be jumping them. You guys are playing really far back here. I don't know about that bubble, but I like the getting high ground, but the bubble was questionable. You guys are playing really far back on the point again, kind of just giving them a lot of space. Sounds like they're going around to the left. So it would be good. So like this is a really good jump right here. Is the Winston, you're bisecting them with that, and that's a good bubble. So basically you landed right in the middle of them. You got the rest of the front of their team is on the point, and then you cut them in half, and now you're zapping the back line and the bubbles here. That's really good. The only thing that would make this better is if your DPS was up here, like say your Junkrat was here, and you could just look down on this and destroy their souls. So because you weren't, you guys were playing the low ground. Now you're kind of, it's not great here because like unless the Winston gets a pick here, you guys are in trouble, I think, because this is a pretty decent position. You've let them come all the way around and they're not really contested here. Okay, that was an interesting junk ult. So that was a decent timing for the junk ult. It was a pretty good timing for it. I think the only thing I would have done is make sure you're in the corner. So right here, you're right in front of everyone, and your ult only has 100 HP. So like, if he managed to throw a fire strike at you, like all he would have had to do not to die here is throw a fire strike at you, and he can destroy your ultimate during the cast. So if he threw a fire strike at you, your ultimate just gets exploded because fire strike does 100 damage, your ult has 100 health, and he would have destroyed it before it even had a chance to blow up. So the only thing I really would have done differently here, because that was a really good junk ult, would be to why is my life not working right now? Oh, right, that's why. Okay. So it would be, I would have been in the corner, like, right here. That way you can't be seen by the enemy team that might have been able to peek you. And also just would have been a little further away from the Reinhardt. I just would have put myself up against the corner, and whenever I use a junk ult, and also just in general, you'll see this in a lot of higher ranks, is just the first thing you do is you throw down a trap. So I would have sit right here, I would have thrown a trap on the corner, and then I would have ulted. And then if anybody runs around this corner and they go, oh, there's a Junkrat right there, they'll walk towards you and get trapped. So right before you use your ultimate, I would almost always throw down a trap, either right in front of you or right behind you, whatever direction you think the enemy is going to come from. I would just throw down your trap and then use your ult. And just make sure you're not like in the open like this. But that was a really, really good time to use the ult there, because this is the last fight if you guys win. So it's a really, really good time to use it offensively. The beat was pretty good too because your Junkrat was in a little bit of trouble. Like they could have focused him down there if they had brain cells, but I mean they don't, so it's fine. But yeah, it's pretty good usage of your beat there. The only thing now is obviously this is the last fight. I would just secure it. Just use all your ults basically. If I was Reaper, I would just fucking run at them and press the Q button here. Maybe just right on the point. Okay, looks like they're not going to contest. So you guys won that one. The main thing that bit you in the ass there, for the few fights you did lose, was basically you were just giving up high ground for free, and you were just letting them do whatever they wanted, giving them all the space that they could possibly want. So if you guys just try and hold the choke, that would have been a lot better. The only reason that did not really bite you guys in the ass is because you were running Winston the whole time. So even if you were a little out of position or they did some rotation and you gave them space, you could just jump away or jump to where they were, and that worked pretty well for you guys. But if you were Reinhardt there, that would have been really rough probably. Okay, Reinhardt is a really good pick on this map. I like that. Just because there's not really any high ground on this map like there is in the last one. So Winston's really good for the last one because there's a lot of high ground and places where he can jump up and then drop on people from. Reinhardt's good for this one, I think. Okay, so we're dropping down off that. That's fine. Charging the Fortified Orisa. I'm not, since I don't know how new you guys are to this game. So when Orisa uses Fortify, when she's all gold and shit like this, she cannot be CC'd and she takes 50% less damage from all sources. So Your charge counts as a CC. It's a stun, so you will just bounce off of her manly pecs if she does this. So dropping here is fine, but I don't want to be standing in the open like this. You could fight the Orisa here a little, but as I said, she takes 50% less damage. It's probably better things spent doing with your time. And also, it's kind of hard for your healers to heal you here because, like, they're just like the side of their head is just presented to the enemy team. So hopefully none of them have any brain cells. But it would be better if, like, it's fine to drop here, but you want your whole team to rotate like around here. So then use this pillar as cover or use this big drum, and then your healers, you could either come to the left and shield them in, or your healers can go around the back this way, and then they can heal you pretty easily from right here, which is a lot safer. So then if you were hiding behind this pillar, it would be better. So yeah, we'll see though. Okay, the Iris is overextending a little there because her Fortify runs out. It's a really good anti. So her Fortify ran out, and like as it ran out, she was like, I'm gonna make sure I'm standing in the middle of their entire team, which is pretty stupid. So that was a good punish on that, and a really, really good anti to make sure the healers couldn't save her. The main thing here is now they have a Mercy, so you want to make sure they can't res it. So I would just sit here, and I would make sure that you hold that space that you have, and make sure that you heal up your Reinhardt so you can do that. So basically, you should be just holding the point here. You guys are now even, but you're up a main tank. So as long as your Rein lives here, which he does not, then you guys probably win that. So the Reaper is just eating you in the ass right here, which is what's going on right now. So their Reaper is just like standing behind everybody shooting them. So that was a good nade on him, so I'm going to make sure you're healing your Reinhardt, which we are. Yeah, I think probably what I would have done is Reinhardt here after your shield breaks there. I would have just tried to charge away and then come back. So, like, you killed his Orisa. It's a good shield there. I hear the Reaper behind me. I think right here, you're pretty weak. I think you just basically, right now, you're pretty weak. You're half HP. Your shield's almost gone. I would have 180'd and just charged to, like, right this corner. Maybe you hit the Reaper, but you definitely live, and you get time for your healers to heal you up. But also the Reaper just kind of walked behind everyone and killed them, so it's a problem. Yeah, they got the res off, you guys take the L, unlucky. Alright. So they have Pharah Mercy, your only hit scan is a Bastion right now, which is a little rough. Sojourn helps a good bit. She's not hit scan, but she does help. I would be looking at the Pharah with that. Nice, that was really good. They're probably going to res that, so I would try and get aggressive here. Decent, the Pharah's back up, so I would have, yeah, as the Bastion there, I would have looked back up, like right when she reses. You hear the Pharah use her rocket jet here. So right here, you hear it. She's up to your top left. So I would look up left because you are the only hit scan right now. She does get slept, but not before doing a shit ton of damage to your team. So. Alright, that was a good charge away. Nice try. I probably would res that if I were you, Mercy, just so you don't have to wait a million years for him, but it's fine, you don't have to, because he does spawn right there. Right here, you're heal boosting a full HP target, so I would be damage boosting if he's full HP. Fairly minor thing, but your whole team is full HP right now, so I would just be damage boosting. And the Bastion is a really good target for that, so is your Sojourn, but especially if your Bastion is in, if he's in turret form, then it's really good to damage boost him. He does a shit ton of damage. So still heal boosting here. I would be on your Reinhardt or probably just damage boosting still. That was good. I'd be back to damage boosting here because you can let your Ana take care of a lot of the yeah, so once again just heal boosting here. So right here, damage boosting this guy would be fine. If you're not going to damage boost, I would be up on your Reinhardt here since he's nanoed. Damage boosting him would actually be better right now, probably, just because he's nanoed. But healing him is also really effective because he has a damage reduction from the nano. So, and he's just swinging around, so it'd be really good to damage boost or heal your Reinhardt. If you heal him, you just get a lot more healing per healing. You know what I mean? Okay, that was a decent ult right there. Okay, wait, why are we using that? Let me look here. But that was some pretty good usage of your ults there. You used Shatter and Nano, and that was it to follow up on stuff. So that was good. 2 ults and a clean win. That was good. Okay, I got the Pharaoh here. Let's see. Okay, so instead of using your ult there, when she shoots at you, I would just fly to somebody. So right here, you see her doing that. You're like, okay, she's gonna come over the right. I'd probably fly to my Ana right here. And then just glide past her instead of using your ultimate. So if you use Mercy, you fly to her and then you hold space, you'll just glide right past him and you would have been like all the way over here, which would have been pretty good. And you wouldn't have to use your ult there. And regardless, even if you weren't confident, like you didn't think of that in the moment or whatever, like you could literally just go AFK here and die and it wouldn't matter because your team just killed their entire team. There's 5 of you alive and the only one alive on their team is the Pharah. So if she kills you here, it does not matter at all because you'll be coming back at the same time as everyone else. Like their team's not going to be able to regroup and push before you get back. So before I use the ult here, I would literally just die. Because this ult is something, now it's something you don't have for next fight. Like you did not need this to win, obviously. Alright, so next fight, they're gonna have a ton of ults. They have their Mercy ult, they have their Reaper ult, they have their Orisa ult, and they almost have their Pharaoh ult. They're probably just gonna speed boost and steamroll you guys. You, on the other hand, only have 1 ultimate. It would have been really nice to have the Mercy ultimate here, but it's alright. Like, so they're gonna speed boost in and shart in your guys' mouth. So basically what I would have done is I would have backed up and just, if you had a Lucio here, it would have been pretty clutch, but you don't. So I probably would have just started to back up once you see them running in. Try to give your Bastion some time to burn down their shield and get some picks. And I would almost just give them the point. Like, not give it to them, but like give them a lot of space while they're running in and ulting you. And then while you're doing that, I would be using your Mercy ult to back up and try and weather that storm. And then once the ults are gone, I would walk back in. Assuming that they're going to walk in and actually ult like normal human beings. And also, one good thing you guys are doing, or one thing you're doing again that is the same mistake you're making last time, you're holding the point here. Probably want your Reinhardt right here. Is where you want your Reinhardt. Just like in general. So when they're coming from spawn, you can throw flame strikes down there, you can stop, and then like you can start your fighting retreat a lot further away. You can start it from here, and then you can start retreating all the way back. And then the ults will be over, and then you can walk back in. You know what I mean? As opposed to starting here, and then you'll be walking all the way back, and now they're capping the point, they're capping the point, they're capping. Okay, now the ults are over, and you can walk back in. So it's better to hold high ground up here is good because you don't want to give it to them, and also it's just a good choke to stop them in. And it's really easy for you to rotate from here to this choke, and then to the point. Like, so basically, if they go this way, you've got a really good choke to stop them. If they go this way, you have a really good choke to stop them. If they go this way, you guys are right here, so that's still really good. And then if they go all the way over here, you have enough time to realize that they're doing that and rotate. So I think that this is right over here is where you guys should be holding as a team, but specifically your main tank should definitely be here. And then maybe your DPS should be on like a flank or something, that's fine, but anyways. Okay, so they are using a lot of ults. Let me actually go back a little, see somebody who can actually see what's going on. Okay, Okay, this is pretty good positioning as Ana here. I like it. Good nade. That was a really good shield. So right here, your Reinhardt just blocked her ultimate from doing literally anything. So her ultimate doesn't go through shield, so she slams the ground, you put the shield up. Everybody's full HP because of that. That was huge. So you have successfully weathered, that would be 1.5 ultimates, so Orissa's ult and part of Mercy's just by backing up and using your shield. It would have been better if you were starting a little further up, but it's fine. Okay, that's a lot of ults. So here, if you had the Mercy ult, it'd be pretty clutch, but you'd probably still lose unless she gets immediately slept, which is probably not going to happen. Okay, that's actually totally winnable. If you guys could, if you guys can stabilize here, this is actually still winnable because you just traded. You just traded fucking Pharah for Bastion, so 100% winnable. Okay, so you guys are all really weak here. So the main, so winnable if you guys can heal up. So this is a really good shield here your Ryan's about to do. I would have done it a little earlier probably, just because she probably shouldn't have held it that long. Your shield is completely gone. You're about half HP. Your whole team is really weak, but both of your healers are alive. So right now you should still be holding the S key. Okay, you were going in really deep here. So if you back up here, you guys actually, I think you win this fight. It's like literally right here is the moment that you should be backing up. So if you back up, you guys play this corner right here. You give them the point, whatever. You need to stabilize. They used a shit ton of ults. You need to stabilize, and then you guys will come back in with your with ults of your own. You'll have your Sojourn ult, and you'll be getting close to Shatter. So totally winnable. But I don't think it is if your Ryan goes in like this. But it's not a big deal. Just a little too aggressive. Like this is the moment where, like, when you're the healer, I don't, because obviously I can't hear you guys' comms right now. I don't know what's going on, but like your job, one of your main jobs as the healer is to be your main tank's like conscience, basically. So like it's really hard sometimes when you're Reinhardt to like know exactly the state of your whole team, because there is no thing up in the top right showing the health bars of all your teammates. You just have a kill feed. So he sees we're even, right? I'm not that weak, right? And then he goes in, right? And that's fair. But you as the healer, you're sitting back here and you're like, oh my god, we're all dying. So if you could just say shield, 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 back up, like let them know, like, all right, we need you to be careful here, so we can stabilize. So, or should say stabilize, back up. Your Reinhardt probably stays alive here, and you guys probably, or not probably, but you would have a really, really good chance at winning this fight. That was also a very tragic time to reload, but you totally could have won that if you'd. Oh no. But yeah, so right here I'd be leaving already. You're probably a little late on the leaving here, but it's whatever. Just die at this point. But yeah. So just try and make sure that we're communicating, especially for our tanks, because they're usually up in the front line. They can't really tell what's going on always. So as the healer, just be letting them know, hey, back up. So we shouldn't really. Yeah, this is decent. It's a decent spot to. They could have pushed you there. I don't know about that charge. So you're still waiting for respawns here. Like your healers died pretty late. So that means that you're here and like your healers are still dead. Like they're not even just in spawn, they're literally dead. So your healers have just respawned, you're up here and you're fighting, you have 0 healers with you. So you should not be going in because you have your 3v5 and the 2 you're missing are your healers. So this is not a great charge. Alright, it was 100. Okay, I didn't actually see that. I'm a brainlet. So what you should be doing here, what I would have done, because I see what you're doing. I'm a brainlet. I didn't notice the percentage. All right. So as a general rule, yeah, not a good idea to go without healers. However, the game's about to end. So what I would have done instead, Reinhardt is not really good at touching the point. He's not that fast. So I would have turned into a ball, probably, Wrecking Ball, or I would have turned into D.Va or Winston, or somebody who moves a lot faster, just to get back to the point. Because you're 82%, you got a touch, your healers died a horrible, painful death, so I would turn into ball, and that's the only way you touch here, basically. I would go ball, have this guy turn into like a tracer, whatever. Just go fast heroes, and then basically just roll around the side and go to touch. Because there's really nothing you can do here as Reinhardt. Like, obviously, you did all you could. You charged up, and you were like, oh shit, my healers are dead, and then you notice, oh my god, it's 90% to the point, I gotta get in there. So at this point, it's already too late. You have 8 seconds to touch. So you can't touch at this point. But I see that you realize that you need to, and you went in, and that's fine. But if you turned into Winston, you could just jump over everyone and touch, or D.Va, you could fly over everyone and touch, or Ball would be the best. But Ball's quite difficult to play, so probably one of the other two. Yeah, I see you were trying to touch the point there. That makes sense. Yes, I think the main reason you guys lost that one was your ult economy wasn't that good. Like, you didn't really plan out what ults you were going to use for what fight, and you kind of just gave them space, kind of like last time. You want to pick a good choke to hold, and then like just have a fighting retreat if they have an ult advantage. And but yeah, the main thing there was the ult economy. You played a good number of those fights fairly well. You just, if you had the ults to make those fights winnable, we would have had a good chance of doing so.
I'm more of a basketball person. Not a fan of your home team, huh? Don't put words in my...
Alright, so we got a Winston. Alright, same comp as first time, okay.
Capture the objective.
It's all tied up. You know what that means. Time for...
Okay, so... I don't really like just jumping straight into the whole enemy team when I don't know what they have. So if you're going to start as Winston, that's fine. I think Ryan is better on this map, but if you're going to start as Winston, it's fine. But I would jump right here, right now. I would jump to right here. Or right here. And the reason why that's better, in my opinion, is because, first of all, you have some cover, a little bit of cover. But it's more about the timing of the jump. So you waited until you were all the way up here, like you walked, right? And they're walking. So you're both walking, you'll get there at about the same time. If you jump early, you land before they're here, so your jump cooldown will be off sooner. Whereas if you jump into the middle of their whole team, you're going to die before your jump cooldown comes off. But if you jump right now, you land here, they don't even know you're here yet, you probably would have been back in time for you to survive. So if you wanted to take some space, that would have been good. I would have jumped right there. But jumping directly into their team when you have no idea what they have, they could have a Reaper, and they do, which is why you die here. Then you just kind of explode. So, unfortunately, Winston is not really great at 1v5s. You do... Oh my god. Yeah, if you'd hit that jump, you would have lived. But, yeah, but it's just very, very dangerous there, doing that. It's playing with fire. Alright, anyways. So here, when your Winston's in that bitch and he's trying to get out, probably swap to speed here because he's trying to escape. You're never going to out-heal a team of 5 as Lucio with your heal aura. So when your teammates are in mortal peril, get them out of the mortal peril with speed instead of trying to out-heal it with your 15 heals per second. Good amp though. But your Winston was already dead, so I probably would have amped speed earlier and he would have just lived. So right here, if you just amp speed, your Winston lives. Alright. Okay, your Moira's on the flank. I think your Moira should probably be like right around where your Junkrat is right now. Looking this direction would be good. And you could just pee on your teammates, heal them up a little bit. If you wanted to bounce a damage orb here and send it to them, you could. But I'd probably be a little closer to this, and then I would trade and have your Junkrat be the one that is currently where your Moira is. And then if Junkrat was firing his nades in there, that he would be doing crazy damage. And then if they turn to look at him, all he has to do is walk back a couple steps to his team or use his mind to knock himself over there. And your soldier's in a decent spot, I guess. But now that your tank is dead, this is becoming less and less decent by the second. now that they've run in there, your whole team is running away. You're probably dead here as soldier, so I would just sprint away towards your Moira to your right, and it's your only hope right now. Alright, your team is dead. Alright, well, now that that happened, I would just die, regroup. Moira just staggered herself a little bit. It's fine, not a big deal, but once your whole team's dead, you just want to die as quickly as possible so you can regroup. I like the Zarya pick. It's actually pretty good here. She's really good in this little hallway. She does a lot of damage and gets basically free charge. So you have shit tons of charge here. That's really good. Junkrat is also really insane here, in this little hallway, especially on defense, but also on attack. So what I would do here, the main thing that's not insane here is soldier. So it's really hard for you to burst somebody down in like the 2 seconds that they're like strafing in and out. So what I would do instead is I would leave your whole team here, and then you as soldier would go all the way over here to the right side, and I'd be right here, or right here. And then you shoot a couple people, shoot them in the back, and then if you don't even have to kill anyone, like, because I guarantee more than one person is going to turn around. Their whole team will probably back up, and all you got to do is make sure you don't die. So if you pick one, you either shoot them here, they start chasing you, and you run back to your team around this way, or you shoot them here, they start chasing you, and you just run deeper and deeper into their spawn, and they don't really have a whole lot. Like, they have Lucio, but like, that's it. They can really catch you. So as long as you just keep running away, like, they'll back up, they'll chase you, and then your whole team gets to walk through that choke for free. And if they don't chase you, you sit right there and you continue to shoot them in the back, and just get some free damage, because it's really, really hard for soldier to do anything uphill in a hallway. So I would sit right here and shoot them instead. And then obviously if they look at you, you could just run back to your team if you want. Decent boop. You're all dead. Nice, nice, nice. Okay. I didn't actually see what killed our Zarya there. I think it was just a little over-aggression. Yeah, fell in a little bit too far there. So when your bubble is off cooldown, so you have 5 seconds on the bubble here. 3, 2, I see you're going to go in here. So right here is where you should be backing up. Your bubble is gone. If you hold S right here, you live. And you kept going in for just a second, and then got caught on that and died. So it's fine, but I'd be doing a little bit more right-clicking when you're up there. So when you're right here, like they're all in a group. Right here, a fat right-click on the Orisa would be a lot more ult charge than a left-click. So your left-click does more single target damage. Your right-click obviously can hit multiple people. You'll do more damage. So I probably would have done that there. But also just at that moment, that's right there is where you should be backing up. Because they do have a Reaper, so he does a lot of damage. Your team's that weak, I probably would have thrown a healing orb, not damage, but it's not a big deal. Your team seems to survive there. Okay, they're giving you a lot of space here. I think you just walk in, take this for free, kill this guy on the right, he's kind of free. Okay, he got out. I would just take high ground instead here. So instead of going low ground here and chasing just this one kill, I would go high ground. So, like, watching your soldier here, for example. So you're shooting this guy, which you should be. It's good. I get that you want to chase him, but you have a gun, right? So if your team just takes the high ground here, because now this guy's weak, he's backed up. If your team just walks up here, pushes these guys off the high ground, or not even push them. Your whole team walks up here, the soldier stands here. You're still able to shoot her just fine when she goes to the point here. So she runs, and she's like, oh no, and she runs over there. If you were up here, you'd be having the same exact thing, except now you're on high ground, and you can hit them as well, and your whole team just pushes up this way. That was probably the right play, because you don't want to just go straight to the point, and now the enemy team is all on high ground, you're on low ground, they get to shoot at you for free. It's just really risky to chase her this hard here. I would have just gone to the high ground, and taken the man advantage fight up here, because she's run down there all by herself. So you can take a 4v5 on high ground and maybe even kill her from up here if you want to. So I would have gone this way. Junkrat's really weak there. He's dead. Okay. Okay, they're using ultimates. Alright, let's back up a little here. Okay, I'd probably be speeding right now if we were chasing kills. Probably be amping. That was a decent attempt at the boop though. I don't know if this is winnable, but yeah, maybe it is. No, that's a no. Okay. Okay, at least they're still using ults for some reason, so that's good. Okay, let me see what's going on here. Alright, so once your Lucio dies there, it's just you and Junkrat, right? Why is there ult? Do you know how her ult works? Alright, so right here you should just be full turning tail and running, because it's just you and Junkrat. You're not going to out-heal their whole team with your healing pad here, so probably just turn tail and run immediately. You could have maybe lived. This is a good spot for Junkrat to spam his stuff. But either way, you guys should be waiting for a regroup here. You are at 85%, so I would be speeding in. You have a shit ton of ults, so I'd be planning what ults you're going to use here, and make sure you don't use too many, because you have all of them. So what I would probably do is I would speed in, and I would have your Junkrat ult, and then I would grab. So speed your whole team in. You could beat if you wanted to. I would do one of two things. Either speed in Zarya, she grabs, and you Junkrat ult it, or speed in Zarya and beat, and then just eat their ass, and no ults other than that. So just beat and grab, or Junkrat ult and grab is what I would do here. So let's see. Okay, so we used Tactical Visor, Grav, and Beat. So that's not terrible. The only thing is Tactical Visor's not the best here, because the only thing that this does, obviously it's an aimbot, but you can't get headshots with it. They're stationary, right? You don't need an aimbot to hit stationary targets, and you do not do more damage in this ultimate. So the only thing you're doing is stopping yourself from getting headshots here by using Tac Visor. So if you're using Tactical Visor, you don't want to use Grav, and vice versa. So yeah, I would use that at a different fight. And I don't know why we're pushing low ground here, other than the fact that it's almost over. But decent kill on the Lucio. But yeah, I think all you needed here was Grav and oh no. Okay. So let me look at this again. But yeah, either way, I think you go in here, you grab and beat is what you do here. So did we grab just the Moira? Yeah, so it's just the Moira. So solo grab on the Moira is, if you had to pick somebody on their team to solo grab, the Moira is probably the best target. But usually you want to try and get at least two with a grab. Okay, well, winnable, but it's going to be a little rough here. Good, okay, that's totally one, actually. Sports just kill everyone, I guess. Alright, well, you have one ult next fight. It's the Junkrat ult, so I would probably use it a little early here just to try and stagger them, basically. So I would hold up. So I would hold up at this choke here, like, because as you guys probably realized when they were holding you at this choke, it's a little rough to try and do things getting through this choke. So hold this choke. It's really, really good for Junkrat. Looks like they might be on low ground, but regardless, you hold this choke, and then you have the rest of your team is standing like here and here, and like you're listening and trying to like scout and figure out where they're coming from. And then right around this time, like right around now, is when I would have your Junkrat, who should be over here, use his ult. And then he takes his ult, he climbs this wall with it, goes down here, and then he picks one of these 3 directions, wherever the enemy team is, and blows it up on their face. So if he ulted right now, from there, I think it probably would have been fine, because you would have been able to see him from any of these places. Probably kill him as they're going down the stairs here, because it looks like that's where they're going, but yeah, probably would have killed literally all of them if you just used the ult, gone over here. But regardless, it doesn't matter where exactly you are when you use the ult. The point is, that is your win condition in this fight, is the Junkrat ult. So I would try and make sure that you find an opportunity to use it. And you hear the enemy team coming in, I would be using it right now, and I'd probably be closer to the... Oh, so I'd probably be like in a good hiding spot or something, so you can use the ult. Because if you had a Junkrat ult here, and it pops off and kills like 4 or 5 or 3 or whatever, 2 even, that is the way you win. But even without that, you would have a good chance of winning this fight if you guys were on high grounds. But instead, you're just kind of all chilling on the point, waiting for the enemy to show up. So you want to try and take some space here, have your soldier on the high ground up here, or he would have been up here, I guess. But he would have been right here, shooting them all in the back for free. Or up here would have been fine. But so you want your soldier on the high ground, DPS on the high ground, your whole team on the high ground, and then the good thing about high ground is, if you ever need to be on low ground, all you have to do is walk off the edge and fall to low ground. It's pretty easy. Whereas you can't do the opposite. You can't just teleport to high ground unless you're like, certain heroes. So you guys are down 2. This is probably an L. Yeah. Okay, so same thing as the other, the ending of the last round. When I was saying I swapped a ball, swapped a tracer, you get to the point. So same thing there. If it's really, really, really close to the end of the game, you're going to want to swap to something that moves quickly, just to get to the point, get to the touch, and give yourself however small of a chance it is to touch the point and keep the game going. But the main thing there on the last round, that I think the problem was, it was that it was ult economy was a big thing, but it was mostly positioning was the biggest thing. Your ult economy was, not great, but like you guys made a clear effort to combine ults. Like when you you sped in, you grabbed and did things. You were like, okay, we're going in as a team, we're ulting. Like that's good. It's just that you want to make sure that you're thinking about which ults you're going to use, and you've planned that out pre-fight, so you're not using grav and tactical visor at the same time. And you're like, and you know, I'm going to use these two ults for this fight, these 2 ults for the next fight. You have a plan there, and you guys are decent at that. It wasn't perfect, but there was an effort for it, and that's good. But the main thing that screwed you up, regardless, even though your ult economy wasn't the worst in the world, was that your positioning was, you were giving the enemy team a lot of space. You were giving them all the high ground they could possibly ever want, and you were just kind of basically, you were sitting on the point just waiting for them to come to you most of the time, instead of taking space in the map and trying to stop them from getting out of their spawn, getting out of the choke. You were kind of just letting them do that. So I think that's the main takeaway here, is just to think about high ground and positioning a little bit more. I'm gonna end it here. That was pretty good though, guys. Nice job. Especially for new players.